Members are present except for Member Robustelli. We've got 3 items. The first one is A1A, request approval of a resolution amending the funded full-time equivalent position resolution for fiscal year 2020 Fund 007. I'd entertain a motion. Member Beard, second Member Metzger. Camille, you want to lead the discussion here, or?
Yeah, Chairman Soldner, this is coming from our Behavioral Health Coordinating Council Supervisor, Tricia Malott. She is looking to use budget funds to take on in our FTE list some of the individuals that were previously contractual. It was Ms. Malott's estimation that this decision really promotes continuity of services and as well saves our county operations some dollars by not having to pay certain fees associated with the contractual agreements formally in place. And so that's what this is about.
All right. Does any member have a question? Seeing none, are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye or raise your hands.
Do we have to do roll call? Donnie?
Yes.
Yes, we have to do roll call vote. Jim?
Right? Yes.
Metzger?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Woolrab?
Yes.
Yes. Robustelli? Oh, that's right.
I don't know. I'm here and I have no idea we're voting on, so I'm abstaining.
Okay.
Beard?
Yes.
Barnett?
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Next item is A1B, request approval of a Class C raffle license for Lakeside Country Club. I would entertain a motion. Member Metzger, second Member Woolrab. This is pretty straightforward. Again, I don't know whether administration has anything to add.
We do not, Chairman Soldner.
All right. Any questions by anyone? If not, ready to vote? Roll call vote.
Metzger?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
Woolrab?
Yes.
Robustelli?
Yes.
Beard?
Yes.
Barnett?
Aye.
And Chairman Soldner, are you voting?
Yes. Aye. Okay, that one passes also. Moving right along, item A1C, request approval of an Illinois State Board of Elections acceptance agreement, HAVA election security grant. This is something almost $24,000. I would entertain a motion. Member Woolrab, second. Member Beard, okay. I don't know, is Ms. Michael here, or again, Administrator, do you have anything to add?
Ms. Michael, Chairman Soldner has provided a memo, which is on page 11 of your stand-up packet. I know that earlier in the day, she did indicate an interest in joining the meeting. She must have been held back by something that she didn't expect. But in all, this grant funding related to cybersecurity and vulnerabilities is a welcome addition to our operations for all purposes related to election security.
And it says we will receive it in a lump sum, so that's also good. So again, any questions by any of the members? If not, we can vote. Once again, the roll call vote, please.
Member Metzger?
Yes.
Member Erickson?
Yes.
Member Woolrab?
Aye.
Member Robustelli?
Yes.
Member Beard?
Yes.
Member Barnett?
Aye.
Chairman Soldner, will you be voting?
Yes, I'll vote yes.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes our business for stand-up. We will see the rest of you or all of you again at the next meeting. Thank you.
Next is justice.
Chairman Gordon, whenever you're ready, I think Ms. Morlock would be ready to assist. Do you take roll, Ms. Morlock? I can't recall. No,
We can.
we don't have to, as long as you know membership is present.
Yeah, Ms. Rodriguez, we have 5 of 7 Justice Committee members, at least the last time I scanned the tiles, 5 of 7 Justice Committee members present, so we have a quorum.
Thank you.
I'll call this special, not special, excuse me, this stand-up meeting of the Justice Committee to order. We have one item to consider here. Item B1A, request approval of a subcontract/sub-grant agreement between the Illinois Association of Court-Appointed Special Advocates, CASA, and the County of McLean, found on pages 15 through 45, and I'll entertain a motion. Moved by Member Robustelli, seconded by Member Schaefer. Any questions, comments, or discussion? Hearing none. Welcome, Mr. Wendt. Glad you're here. Chair will vote on item B1A. We will have a roll call, and Ms. Morlock, will you take it from here?
Thank you. Member Wendt, are you voting on this? I didn't know when he joined.
Yes, I'm voting on it.
Okay. Yes. Are you voting in favor of?
I'll pass right now. I'm gonna
Okay.
pass.
Schaefer,
Yes.
Robustelli,
Yes.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member, oh, she was not here, and Ms. Chairman Gordon.
Yes,
And then I'll go back to Member Wendt.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That passes.
that concludes the business of the stand-up meeting of the Justice Committee. See some or all of you shortly. Thank you.
Schaefer, Robustelli, Gordon, Wendt, Martin, Martin is tongue there.
Yes, she is.
So Member Schaefer, you have all members present whenever you'd like to get started.
Thank you. We have one item for action for the stand-up for Health Committee. Request approval of agreement of the provision of healthcare to incarcerated patients in McLean County, Illinois. I have a motion for that. Motion by Chung, second by Metzger. Any questions? Okay, seeing none. Ms. Morlock, would you please call the roll?
Thank you. Member Robustelli,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Yes,
Member Wendt, Member Wendt,
Oh, yes.
thank you. Member Martin,
Yes.
thank you. Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Chairman Schaefer,
Yes,
that passes.
and that's all we have for Health Committee today.
Thank you. Chairman McIntyre, it looks like you have everyone present.
Thank you.
You can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Executive Committee has 6 items for action today. Item D1A is request approval of the Illinois State Board of Elections Acceptance Agreement Finance Grant. It's on pages 11 through 14. Is there a motion? Motion by Member Soldner, second by Member Woolrath. Comments or questions? Member Casey.
Does the Board of Election Commissioners get a portion of this grant, or do they get a separate grant?
I do not know. Does anybody know here?
I do not know.
From what I've read, according to the notes, it's for cybersecurity. I wouldn't, again, I wouldn't expect that they would get any part of our portion. Whether they get other funding, I don't have any idea.
Anyone else? If not, I can't say that. We have to take roll call vote. Sorry about that.
Member Soldner,
Yes,
Member Gordon,
Yes,
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
thank you. Member Erickson, who's on? Member Schaefer,
Yes.
thank you. Member Woolrab,
Aye.
thank you. Member Metzger,
Yes.
thank you. Member Barnett,
Aye.
Chairman McIntyre,
Yes, I will vote yes.
thank you.
And the motion's carried. We'll move on to item B, request approval of a subcontract, sub-grant agreement between Illinois Association of Court-Appointed Special Advocates, CASA, and the County of McLean Justice Department. Is there a motion?
Yes.
Motion by Member Kaisley. Is there a second? Member Barnett, comments or questions? If none, we'll call the question. We'll have a roll call vote.
Member Soldner,
Chair will
Yes.
vote.
Member Gordon,
yes,
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Aye.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Aye.
and Chairman McIntyre.
Aye.
Thank you. Carries.
Motion is carried. Item C, request approval of appointment of Chris Fanels, who's Assistant State's Attorney now as the McLean County Ethics Advisor. Is there a motion? Motion by Member Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Schaefer. Any comments or questions? If none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Soldner,
yes,
Member Gordon,
yes,
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Aye.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Aye.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 9 votes, and the motion is carried. Item D, request approval of a resolution of the McLean County Board continuing the declaration of an emergency pursuant to Section 11 of the Illinois Emergency Management Agency Act. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Member Gordon. Is there a second? Second by Member Metzger. Any comments or questions or discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Soldner,
yes,
Member Gordon,
yes,
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Aye.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Aye.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 9 yes votes, 0 no votes. The motion is carried. And next will be item E, request approval with MTG to issue an evaluated request for information found on pages 59 through 61. Is there a motion? Motion by Member Metzger and a second. Member Solomon. Comments or questions? Member Schaefer.
I don't know if we have to make a amendment to this, but on the agenda item, it says to issue and evaluate. Evaluate should not be there, so I just don't know if we have to, if that's just a clerical error or if it's something we have to change because of the action item.
This was dealt with during the committee meeting, wasn't it? At the time for clarification. that wording?
Yes,
Yes.
if I may I
Yes.
speak, Chairman?
Yes.
To the membership, I know that during the meeting, we worked with the vendor to change what that individual would perform on behalf of the county if this were passed. And so it is our almost Scribner's error that we left it in this item line E, those words and evaluate, because at this time we are not requesting that they evaluate.
So we'll leave it up to staff to correct the scrivener's error,
Yes, ma'am.
and we'll take a
Madam
vote. So we'll have a roll call vote. Any other questions or discussion? If not, we'll take a roll call vote. Chairman will vote.
Okay, so this is now a request approval of agreement with MTG to issue a request for information.
Yeah.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Aye.
Member Kaisley,
Yes.
Member Erickson. Member Erickson,
Yes.
did he say what?
He said
Yes,
yes.
he said yes.
Yes, okay.
Is that a yes or a pass?
That's what I was trying to decide. Yes or pass, Chuck?
I said yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sorry. Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Aye.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Aye.
Chairman McIntyre.
Aye, we have 9 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion passes. Item D1 F is a request approval of a resolution, and you all have received now that I'm going to offer a substitute motion for a resolution for that. Do you all have that? Did you all receive that today? If so, then I'm going to move that we accept this substitute motion. Is there a second? Second by Member Barnett. Comments or questions? If not, we'll take a roll call vote. Member Woolrab?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In an email to you earlier today, I requested that maybe I would hope that we could get the Attorney General's written comments concerning this, because the law passed in June does permit us to have closed session meetings remotely. So I just wanted to see if we could get actual clarification on that point. But I appreciate the fact of the, as I said in the email, the new resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Is
Mr.
there
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, was an email sent out today?
yes.
I didn't get it. So I'm gonna abstain on the vote.
All right, you should have received it. I'm not sure why. We'll check here staff wise, see if we can get it to you here in a minute. I don't,
We can,
we'll go ahead. I'll have you abstain if it's okay on the vote. Let's take a roll, listen.
or she has to do the roll call vote. So,
Okay,
Are we ready to do a roll call?
let's
vote?
take a roll call vote. Chairman will vote. Do you want a response, Member Woolrab? For clarification?
Yeah, when you can get that. If you can't today, that's fine. Yes.
Come on here. Can you?
Right, actually, Mr. Knapp is gonna,
Mr. Knapp is on his way.
he's in the other room,
I can go get him. Excuse me, please.
but I checked it.
There he is.
There we go. Thank you.
You're absolutely right, Mrs. Woolrab, that the Senate Bill 2135 allows for closed session under the same rules that allow for virtual meetings with less than a majority of a quorum, or I'm sorry, less than a quorum physically present. So our rules don't, but we can suspend or change our rules at any time. But the OMA was changed in June, going into effect July 1st, that allows for that. And I have to, the Attorney General came out with something after July 1, some recommendations for virtual meetings. That's about an 8 to 10 page document that I just haven't had a chance to read yet, but it is in my inbox to do so. So, anything else?
Mr. Knapp, can we get a copy of that?
Yeah, I will, it was forwarded from the association. I'll find it and forward it to everybody. Absolutely.
Thank you. Ready for a roll call vote? Member Gordon, you have your hand up?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I wanted to, may I follow up here? I want to be sure I understood Mr. Knapp correctly, that it is possible to do, was your reference to executive session remotely?
Closed session, yeah. The term in the home is closed session, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that would be applicable only if what?
Well, it's applicable, so the rules for needing a physical quorum present before people could attend remotely have changed. There is a host of things you have to do now, such as the chief legal officer, chief elected officer, or chief administrative officer still have to be somewhere present. And I could go get the new language. You still have to allow for contemporaneous well, not for a closed session, for our open sessions, it's just a separate section in all of the things we have to do now for a virtual meeting. And bear with me, we're in the middle of our 4th murder trial in a month, and so I haven't had a chance to study it.
Thank you.
But it does allow for closed session, virtual. I could
As long as we meet some of the criteria, and we will be able to see those criteria at some point here shortly.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Ready to call for the question. Roll call vote.
Was there anything changed? Just
No,
your.
no, there was no amendments to the resolution.
Okay, sorry, I had to step out of the room, so I apologize.
I know. Member Erickson is present, I believe. He's still here to vote. I can't see him, but I think he is. So.
Okay. Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Gordon,
Aye.
Member Kaisley,
Aye.
Member Erickson,
Aye.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Woolrat,
Aye.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Aye.
Chairman McIntyre.
Aye. 9 yes votes, 0 no votes.
Well, I thought to check vote nay. Or aye. He said aye.
We need
said abstain.
Abstain. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Chuck, Mike just sent it out again to everybody. So hopefully you'll get it.
Mr. Erickson. Mr. Erickson, would you clarify for me what your, if you don't want to do this publicly, be sure we've got your email correct in our block of emails that come out of our office. I believe this is the second time where maybe you didn't receive something that was sent out as a group. So please.
Yes, that's correct. That is correct. I will check it. Yes, I'll check it after the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Motion.
Thank you.
That's all I have for this meeting, and it is adjourned. Now I'm seeing people participating. Everyone. Welcome again to this McLean County Board regular poll meeting, Tuesday, July 21st, 2020. This time I'd like to call a meeting to order, and I'd ask that everyone please rise for the invocation by Member Gordon.
As we gather this day, O our Creator, we thank you for the blessings of life and of liberty that we enjoy in this land. We pray in these difficult times for health and well-being, for peace and prosperity, and for justice for all of your children. Grant those who lead in all places and all settings wisdom, humility, and compassion. Guide us this day in right paths as we make decisions on behalf of those whom we serve. And inspire all of us to treat our fellow human beings with respect and consideration in every aspect of our lives. Amen.
Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now I will call the roll.
William Paisley, sorry, I didn't hear you, sir.
Present.
Thank you. Sharon Chung,
Present.
Chuck Garrett,
Here.
William John Friedrich,
Here.
George Gordon,
Here.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Present.
Randall Martin,
Present.
Catherine Metzger,
Present.
Carlo Robustelli,
Present.
Susan Schaefer,
Here.
Logan Smith,
Here.
James Soldner,
Here.
Gerald Thompson,
Present.
Shayna Wachinski,
Here.
George Wendt,
Present.
Lori Ulrab,
Here.
Josh Barnett,
Present.
Jacob Beard,
Present.
Lindsay Bloomfield,
Present.
John McIntyre.
Present, we have 20 members present, 0 absent. We do have a quorum. We'll move on to number 5 on your agenda. We do have some letters that have been submitted from members of the public. First of all, I'd like to say a certain public thank you to Mrs. Morlock for doing all these roll call votes and reading these letters each session for us. So thank you very much. And we'll turn this over to you.
Okay, I have several letters this evening. The first one is from Mr. Tim Killian, the Chenoa Township Highway Commissioner, dealing with the Invenergy Blooming Grove Windmill developer. The development spans the county from Colfax to Gridley. The townships involved are Wandale, Lexington, Chenoa, Money Creek, and Gridley. The roads that are a part of the project are a total of 47 miles. Last year, EDPR had 27 miles of roads as part of their development with 5 water trucks to control the dust. Invenergy, with 47 miles of road in their development, is using 2 water trucks to control the dust. The county has issued a permit to Invenergy to operate with the understanding that Invenergy would be responsible for controlling the dust created by the traffic on the roads. The dust issue has been part of the weekly meeting with Invenergy. The response has been, "We're going to." The dust continues to be an environmental issue for residents and a safety issue for traffic. A request early in the development was brought to the attention of Invenergy that there is a resident infant who has been on oxygen. The dust control has been very good near her home. Dust control is possible. Other residents have not fared so well. With little or no dust control, the yards are gray, gardens are covered in lime dust, patio and deck furniture is unusable, and the yards will turn your shoes white with dust when crossing them. One contractor had over 130 truckloads of rock brought in to cover the road in one day. In a 10-hour day, that would have been 13 trucks per hour going by a home. However, the empty trucks also passed back by the home on their return to the pit. 26 trucks per hour, or a truck every 2.5 minutes. During a conversation with Tim Bailey, I asked how the dust was with the traffic. His response was, "What can you do?" Invenergy has been unwilling to respond appropriately to the requests of the highway commissioners during our weekly meetings. The dust continues to be a problem near the homes, and the safety issue is always present. I'm asking the McLean County Board to look at the terms of the permit to operate for Invenergy and to respond. Thank you for listening, Tim Killian. The next letter is from Zach Gittrick. Recently, Sheriff Sandage lamented about the release of 13 people from the jail on Juneteenth by Black Lives Matter, Blono, and the Chicago Community Bond Fund. Only a government official would complain about being paid close to 90 grand to do their job. As someone who was present when the inmates were released, Sandage gave terrible customer service, taking over 7 hours to release a dozen people, kicked paying constituents out of the waiting room into the rain, and him, along with several officers, were not wearing masks during a global pandemic. Sandage is the one with an almost pathological obsession with keeping in place cash bond and other means of profiting off of incarceration. It's quite disheartening to hear Sandage complain about Black people paying cash bonds when he is the one who supports the cash bail scheme. Right now, during a global pandemic and a national crisis around Black lives, the words of County Board member Sharon Chung are particularly poignant. To make a pointless political statement in a time of crisis not only insults me, but also threatens the safety of our friends and neighbors, end quote. It's also very disconcerting that Sandage doesn't seem to know how the justice system works. BLM is not the one who determines whether an individual is a threat to themselves or the community. It's judges that make this determination. If a judge issued a cash bond to an individual, this means the judge has decided they are not a safety risk to the community. Just as Sandage has no intention of ripping up judges' orders to release people, BLM has no intention of second-guessing a judge's lawful decision to grant bond to any person who is facing criminal charges, nor does BLM plan on denying people their constitutional right to innocence until guilt is proven beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Perhaps Sandage should stop complaining about doing his job in public forums and take his concerns to the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, CJCC, of which he is a member. Sandage also took this time to give his opinion on how Black people should spend their resources, giving a recommendation, that no one asked for, that the money be given to the Boys and Girls Club. When people of a colonial complexion or people of no color like Sandage attempt to tell Black people how they should fight for equality and justice, they have gone too far. The Chicago Community Bond Fund received over $15 million in donations since George Floyd's murder because the majority of people in this country are sickened by for-profit forms of incarceration, which Sandage seems to fetishize. Anyway, I'm sorry, FETISHIZE. Since he is supportive of the Boys and Girls Club, maybe we should take $90,000 out of his budget and give it to them. I would also like to say to George Wendt, one of the many people clamoring endlessly to open the economy early because he claims people are responsible enough to take appropriate precautions, wasn't responsible enough to wear a mask during the GOP's recent press conference. Next is comments from Jackie Bauer. I was very upset to read the Pantagraph article about the firing of Dion McNeil. I hope that this is investigated and that the decision is reversed. Why someone will be fired for his press release is beyond me. The next one is from Dave Shields. With the understanding that there are two sides to every story, I'm writing to say how troubling the information I know of Dion McNeil's dismissal is. I've known Dion to be genuine, transparent, thoughtful, and authentic. I cannot speak to all aspects of his job performance prior to the creation and distribution of a notice recommending regarding precautions to take in a COVID world. I can say that there's nothing in the notice that shouldn't be considered common sense. that communicating common sense health precautions should be the ultimate reason for firing the county's only Black, gay, HIV positive male communications employee and suspending a supportive coworker appears to be egregiously, thank you, rife with multiple biases and in fact deeply troubling. Explanations are due. I add my voice to those seeking them. Dave Shields. I'm going to apologize up front. I'm having trouble reading today. Meg Murphy is the next person. McLean County is seeing the highest spikes of COVID-19 since the pandemic was declared. Now is not the time for the county to resume in-person meetings. All meetings should be conducted virtually and live streamed so that both the public and board members are not put at risk. Jacqueline Gunderson. And excuse me, I'm also trying to read a little faster so I can get everybody's in. I am writing to express my concerns about the resolution to amend the rules of the McLean County Board on page 124-125 of the agenda packet as contained within Chapter 20 of the McLean County Code. In the executive committee meeting last week, Chairman McIntyre stated that if the proposal passes, the live streaming of committee meetings will go away, meaning that members of the public that have been granted easier accessibility during the pandemic will now have to attend meetings in person and potentially put themselves at risk for spreading or contracting the virus. I am adamantly opposed to this and I have several concerns. One, the health and safety of the county board members and their families to begin meeting in person. According to recent data, in just over 2 weeks, the county identified over 90 new COVID-19 cases since July 1st. WGLT reported over the weekend that McLean County is experiencing the most cases we've seen so far. Why would the county want the additional risk of meeting in person? Why would we ask board members to meet in person when our cases are on the rise and many of them are in high-risk categories according to the CDC recommendations? Number two, accessibility and participation of the general public in county board meetings. The average virtual views of a county board meeting via YouTube for the 4 months prior to the pandemic was 212 from November of 2019 to February of 2020. Since COVID-19, that number skyrocketed to an average of over 1,000 views from March to June of 2020. Number three, if meetings are only offered in person and a large group of community members decide to attend, how will that be handled once the room reaches capacity? Will people be turned away? Whether or not the county board members are prepared to hold in-person meetings is up to them to decide. However, the county board should not restrict access to their meetings by taking away the virtual streaming option and requiring members of the public to risk their own health and safety in order to attend in person. With technology to offer virtual meetings that allow for transparency, accessibility, and safe participation already exist. To abandon this option is a disservice to the community. Thank you for your time. Peggy Finnegan, please continue to virtually meet as a county board. COVID-19 infections are continuing to rise in McLean County, and I am concerned about the health and safety of our community. I hope you will wait until COVID-19 infection rates drop. Meeting virtually as a board would demonstrate to your constituents that you are as serious about the health and safety of our community as we are. I have a few more. Crystal Abel. I am adamantly opposed to beginning in-person sessions for a few reasons. The first being that yesterday WGLT said in a Facebook post, the latest numbers suggested COVID-19 has never been more widespread in McLean County than it is right now. Many of the county board members themselves are in the high-risk category. Why would they want to put themselves and others at risk? I am also concerned about Chairman McIntyre's recent remarks that the live streaming of committee meetings will go away, even though that is not explicitly stated in the resolution. In-person meetings following social distancing guidelines without live streaming severely impacts the amount of civic engagement citizens can have regarding county business. If we already have the infrastructure for live streaming in place, why would we discontinue using it? Since live streaming of the committee meetings began, access and participation of the general public in county board meetings has dramatically increased, going from an average of 212 virtual views from November of 2019 through February of 2020 to more than 1,000 between March and June of 2020. The way I see it is there is only one reason why board members would vote to return to in-person meetings and stop live streaming: to reduce transparency in government, and this is unacceptable. This resolution should be unacceptable to anyone who lives or works or attends school in McLean County. Ultimately, if the board chooses to meet in person, they can choose to take that risk. Excuse me. However, the live streaming of the meetings cannot stop. I urge all the board members to choose transparency and loyalty to your constituents by allowing and encouraging easy access to county meetings with the hopes to keep increasing engagement within our community without putting anyone at risk. Crystal Azel. Lola Ogston. As a person at higher risk of serious complications if I become infected with COVID-19, I would like to see all meetings continue to be live streamed. If in-person meetings are the only way to attend, I will not feel safe enough to participate. I have watched many meetings online since they became virtual. I feel holding only in-person meetings takes away my ability to engage in local government safely. Please continue streaming these important committee meetings. Thank you, Lola. Ms. Kearns. Members of the county board, my name is Jenna Kearns and I'm a resident of the 9th district. My public comment pertains to the proposed resolution to amend chapter 20 of the McLean County Code pertaining to meetings. I echo many of the sentiments made by members Gordon and Woolrab during the most recent executive committee meeting regarding their hesitancy of returning to in-person meetings, even if mask wearing and other safety precautions are instituted. I believe it's premature to resume in-person meetings. Additionally, I see collateral consequences that result in a return to in-person meetings that are not directly addressed in this resolution. The main issue I'd like to comment on tonight is that it has been stated, or at least implied by the board, that the live streaming of meetings would cease upon resuming in-person meetings. Member Woolrab had it exactly right when she stated that live streaming meetings increases attendance and engagement with the board and community issues. This pandemic has re-energized me and many others to engage with my elected officials, and virtual access has played an essential role. I am asking that however you vote on returning to in-person meetings, that you take the opportunity you've been provided to do things differently and continue to offer remote access to meetings for the benefit of the public you represent. It would be disappointing to see this option go away. I understand the challenges and barriers faced by actually leveraging the capabilities of technology for the good of the public. I work in the legal field and court systems, so trust me, I know. Again, Member Woolrab has the right idea that we need to take this opportunity to look at ways we can get things done and not stop because it's hard. As such, I support the indefinite live streaming of county board meetings and ask the board to do whatever is in their power to make that a reality. Thank you for your time, Jenna Carlos. And the last one that I have is from a Willie Halbert. During this time, we are faced with the systematic racism that African Americans have had to deal with for over 400 years. It is my hope that as our nation reviews our economic, educational, employment, and our health, that we would also take a look at our county and local procedures as we ensure that people of color are afforded equal opportunity within each and all areas within our community. During this pandemic, it has been obvious the negative effect that COVID-19 has had on African Americans' health, as noted by the disparity of positive cases among people of color, far exceeding the percentages of our population. It is noted that the purpose of the McLean County Health Department is to fulfill the public interest in assuring conditions conducive to good health and providing leadership in promoting and protecting the health of county residents. In pursuit of this mission, I am requesting the following be reviewed and a report be provided to their community within the next 30 days. Number one, what is the number of African Americans on our county board? What measures are being taken to ensure diverse board members that includes African Americans? 2, what is the number of African Americans employed within our McLean County Health Department and what level of positions do they hold? Is the environment within employment conducive for African Americans to strive? Number of employees of color that have been hired, fired, relieved of duties, and a review of circumstances and procedures that occurred in each of these cases within the last 3 years. 3, hire more minority employees within human resources and in leadership roles. 4, develop a plan to increase African American and people of color retention rate, as the current county minority employment is significantly low with the retention rate, along with the retention rate. 5, is there a citizen review committee that can review complaints of clients and employees? 6, within our county, is there an indication of systematic racism in the workplace? 7, review of internal programs that ensure county leaders/supervisors are being held accountable for the treatment of all employees. 8, what programs are current/planned to assist African American to minimize adverse impact of diseases and disabilities as it relates to their health, especially regarding COVID-19? What is the current racial breakup of confirmed COVID-19 positive cases in relationship to each group's population within the county? 9, what type of diversity and inclusion training is provided and how regular does this training take place? And 10, how accessible are services for people of color? I hope the above provides our county, especially our McLean County Health Department, with information that will be helpful in the development of services and maintenance thereof for our African-American community. Respectfully submitted, Willie Holden Halbert. And that is all I have, sir.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you taking the time to do that. We'll move on now to our consent agenda, item number 6 that you have before you. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by member Metzger. Is there a second? Second by member Bloomfield. Comments or questions? Member Friedrich. No. Okay.
No, I was just trying.
All right, sir. Then we'll take a roll call vote to approve the consent agenda.
William Paisley.
Yes.
Sharon Chung.
Yes.
Chuck Erickson.
Yes.
William John Friedrich.
Yes.
George Gordon.
Yes.
Elizabeth Johnston.
Yes.
Randall Martin. Randall Martin. Have I lost her?
He's on. Member Martin?
Randy, can you hear us? Member Martin?
Yes.
Catherine Metzer.
Yes.
Carlo
Yeah.
Lopez.
Yes.
Susan Schaefer.
Yes.
Logan Smith.
Yes.
James Goldner.
Yes.
Harold Thompson.
Yes.
Shana Wachinski.
Yes.
George Wendt.
Yes.
Bree Woolrab.
Yes.
Josh Barnett.
Yes.
Jacob Beard.
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield.
Yes.
John McIntyre.
Yes, we have 20 yes votes
Yes.
and 0 no votes. The motion is carried.
Mr. Chairman,
You will find on, excuse me?
Mr. Chairman, can the record please reflect that I abstained from item E2C regarding the approval of the agreement with State Farm?
We will do so, sir. Thank you. We have it recorded. Member Metzger?
I also abstain from that vote.
Thank you. We'll record that. You will find, Member Bloomfield.
I also abstain. Thank you.
Thank you. We have 3. Anyone else? You will find on page 41 a transfer ordinance as part of our consent agenda, which requires a 2/3 vote for expedience sake. Is there anyone who wants a dissenting a vote recorded? Please raise your hand. If not, then we'll consider the consent agenda approved unanimously. And we have, at that point, no other resolutions at this time. And, or anything else to deal with there. So we'll go into the report of the standing committees. First of all, Executive Committee Vice Chairman Solner.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Executive Committee has one item for action tonight. 7A1A request approval of a resolution of the McLean County Board to amend the rules of McLean County Board as contained within Chapter 20 of the McLean County Code. There's some alternate language that was emailed to everyone, and I would make that motion.
And so the motion is by Member Solner. Is a second. Second by Member Friedrich. As you all know, if you're part of the stand-up executive committee, I submitted a substitute motion. You should all have it in front of you. Is there anyone who does not? Are there any comments or questions or discussion? If none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Gordon has his hand up. Member Gordon?
Okay, Member Gordon, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to be sure that I'm understanding correctly what Mr. Knapp was saying during our exec stand-up prior to this. I'm not sure where we are. The language before, I'm fully supportive of the language presented in the updated alternative resolution that you set out earlier today, Mr. Chairman. But I guess I have a question about the closed session aspect of that. Mr. Knapp said that he had not had a chance to go through all of the language from the Attorney General. I can understand that. But if we approve this language, I presume that we would have some options to consider an alternative rule or a further amended rule later on, allowing for closed session virtually of committees, subcommittees, or the full board. Is that a correct assumption?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe that's a correct assumption. At a later moment, that's correct. Anyone else? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Thank you.
William Paisley,
Yeah.
Sharon Chung,
Yes.
Chuck Erickson,
Abstain.
abstain. William John Friedrich,
Yes.
George Gordon,
Yes.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Yes.
Randall Martin, Randall Martin.
Yes.
Thank you. Catherine Metzger,
Yes.
Carlo Robustelli,
Yes.
Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
Logan Smith,
Yes.
James Solner.
Yes.
Carol Thompson,
Yes.
Shana Winchester,
Yes.
George Wendt,
Yes.
Lori Woolrab,
Aye.
Josh Burnett,
Yes.
Jacob Beard,
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield,
Yes.
John McIntyre. 19 yes and 1 abstain.
Have 19 yes votes, 1 abstention, and the motion has carried. I'll give the floor back to Vice Chairman Solner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all that Executive Committee has for action today. I would be glad to answer any questions. Our general report is in the unapproved minutes.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to item B, Finance Committee report, Chairman Solner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance has one item, 7B1A, request approval of the Illinois State Board of Elections acceptance agreement to the HAVA election security grant. I so move.
Motion by Chairman Solner. Is there a second? Second by Member Woolrab. Comments or questions? Discussion? If none, we'll have a roll call vote.
William Paisley,
Yes.
Sharon Chung,
Yes.
Chuck Erickson,
Yes.
William John Friedrich,
Yes.
George Gordon,
Yes.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Yes.
Randall Martin,
Yes.
thank you, Catherine Metzger,
Yes.
Yes.
Carlo Robustelli,
Yes.
Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
Logan Smith,
Yes.
James Solner,
Yes.
Harold Thompson,
Yes.
Shana Wachinsky,
Yes.
George Wendt,
Yes.
Lori Woolrab,
Yes.
Josh Barnett,
Yes.
Jacob Beard,
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield, John McIntyre,
Yes.
20.
Have 20 yes votes, 0 no votes. Motion is carried.
That's all that finance has tonight. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Our report is in the unapproved minutes.
Thank you. We'll move on to the report of the Health Committee Chair, Member Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Health Committee has no items for action today, and our general report can be found on pages 4 through 10 of the unapproved minutes packet.
Thank you. We'll go on to the report of the Land Use and Development Committee, Chairman Erickson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Land Use and Development Committee has no items for action. Our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes. I would add that I believe it was Mr. Killian's issue that he had raised via letter. The Land Use Committee did address that. I'm still waiting for an opinion from Camille and our legal and our state's attorney on that, but it was addressed at the Land Use Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Move on to the report of Transportation Committee, Chairman Gaisley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Transportation Committee has been very busy during the summer months, and we have a number of projects going in various parts of the county on the highways and bridges. And our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of the Property Committee, Chairman Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property has no items to bring before the board this month. A copy of our report may be found in the unapproved minutes packet.
Thank you. We'll move on to the report of the Justice Committee, Chairman Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Justice Committee brings 3 items for action before the board this evening. Item G1A, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the Children's Advocacy Center, CAC. Pages 130 through 132 in our packet. This requires a 2/3 vote, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Gordon. Is there a second? Second by Member Schaefer. Are there comments or questions or discussion? If none, we will take a roll call vote.
William Paisley,
Yes.
Sharon Chung,
Yes.
Chuck Erickson,
Yes.
William John Friedrich,
Yes.
George Gordon,
Yes.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Yes.
Randall Martin, yes. Catherine Metzger,
Yes.
Carlo Robustelli,
Yes.
Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
Logan Smith,
Yes.
James Soldner,
Yes.
Harold Thompson,
Yes.
Shana Wachinsky,
Yes.
George Wendt,
Yes.
Lori Woolrad,
Yes.
Josh Barnett,
Yes.
Jacob Beard,
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield. Yes. John McIntyre.
Yes. This motion is carried, but it requires a 2/3 vote. Are there any dissenting votes to be recorded? Please raise your hand. If not, we'll consider it to be passed unanimously, and we'll move on. Chairman Gordon, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item G1B, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement by and between the County of McLean, the McLean County Sheriff, and the Bloomington Normal Airport Authority, pages 133 through 159 in our packets, and I'll move that.
Motion by Chairman Gordon. Is there a second? Second by Member Friedrich. Comments or questions? If none, we'll have a roll call vote.
William Paisley,
Yes.
Sharon Chung,
Yes.
Chuck Erickson,
Yes.
William John Friedrich,
Yes.
George Gordon,
Yes.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Yes.
Randall Martin. I can't.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say he's showing me a thumbs
Thumbs
up.
up, yeah.
Okay.
Although we're not supposed to record.
I
that,
know.
We'll deal with that And I'll contact him.
Catherine Metzger,
Yeah.
Carlo Robistelli,
Yes.
Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
Logan Smith,
Yes.
James Goldner,
Yes.
Harold Thompson,
Yes.
Shana Wachinsky,
Yes.
George Wendt, George Wendt. Yes, thank you. Lori Woolrab,
Yes.
Josh Barnett,
Yes.
Jacob Beard,
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield. Yes. John McIntyre.
Yes, the motion has carried. As you all know, we will do everything we can to access your audio. We are required to have an audio voice vote. And we'll try to see that our technology people are making sure ahead of time that you're coming through. If you do have an opportunity, if you do have a problem with your vote coming through audio, we will try to probably have to record it as being present. So we'll hope that we can get this fixed and we'll work through it. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Justice Committee has one additional item, item G1C. Request approval of a subcontract/sub-grant agreement between the Illinois Association of Court-Appointed Special Advocates, CASA, and the County of McLean, pages 160 through 190 in our packet, and I'll move that.
Motion by Chairman Gordon. Is there a second? Second by Member Casely. Comments or questions or discussion? And we'll have a roll call vote.
Chairman Kate, sorry. Sharon Chung,
Yes.
Chuck Erickson,
Yes.
William John Friedrich,
Yes.
George Gordon,
Yes.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Yes.
Randall Martin. Is he able to say anything?
I don't know, his voice is on. He's
He's,
unmuted.
yeah, he's unmuted, but I
It's
just
not
can't hear
coming
him.
through.
Okay. Catherine Metzger,
Yes.
Carlo Robistelli,
Yes.
Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
Logan Smith,
Yes.
James Goldner,
Yes.
Harold Thompson,
Yes.
Shana Wachinsky,
Yes.
George Wendt, George Wendt. Yes, I can see you, but I can't hear you, George. Lori Woolrab,
Yes.
Josh Barnett,
Yes.
Jacob Beard,
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield. Yes. John McIntyre.
Yes, motion is carried. Back to you, Member Gordon.
That's all from the Justice Committee for this meeting, Mr. Chairman. Be happy to answer any questions. Our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to item H, the County Administrator's Report. Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. I, at this time, do not have any items to present for action. Just under items to present for information, if I may move on, I would like to just take a quick opportunity on behalf of county administration, all the staff in that office, to say thank you to all of our department heads and their staff. We are wearing our face coverings, we're washing our hands, and we're watching our distance between each other. And because of that, even though there are so many of us that need to stay at home and want to stay at home, there are just as many of us in county government that are going to work so that so many in this community can enjoy Kamlara Park and go camping. So many of us can stop by the government center and visit our customer service center and pick up a marriage certificate or other paperwork that they need to do to conduct business. Obviously, the health department, the Law and Justice Center, all of those places are still open with dedicated employees coming to work. And so I'm leaving some folks out, obviously, because I want to be brief, but there's never enough time and space to say thank you to all of our dedicated and loyal employees. And I just think that this is a perfect moment to note that we couldn't do all the things we do in government without their dedication and coming to work. So thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to say thank you to our employees.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
We'll move on to other business and communication. Have anyone have anything tonight? We've had two college student interns with us this summer in the office. I'd like to say publicly say thank you to Ms. Katie Feely, who's a University of Illinois student, who was a graduate of University High School, and Mr. Connor Lucy, who is a Notre Dame University student, who is a graduate of Catholic High School. They've been working and been extremely helpful with us. They have one more week to spend with us this summer. And they've been working to help and go through a number of items for our budget preparation. So I just want to publicly say thank you to them, and we'll miss having them around. It's nice to have some youthful people in our office at times, and so thanks very much. I'm waiting for the bills to show up here to be paid.
Okay.
We don't have them.
Okay, I think Ms. Morlock went to get them.
Yeah. So
Very good.
again, I want to thank you all of your cooperation. I know we had a change in resolutions tonight, but after much thought and deliberation and consultation with many of you, I just decided it was the best interest for all of us, for the safety, health, and wellness of our current members, employees, public, and staff, to offer that the substitute resolution and motion that you had in front of you and approved. Appreciate that very much. I know that I wanted to provide, as I sent to you, consistency in operation, because we are coming into our budget season. I think it's very important for us to continue to function as well as the board has in the past. And I hope that this will give us direction, and we will be able to go ahead and follow through with all of our endeavors. And so that's all I have. Do I have someone else? Member Kaisley, do you have a comment?
Yes, I would like the county administrator to send a note of thanks to the Community Foundation for the grant that they made to the county government.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any more further comments? If not,
Member Barnett has raised his hand, Chairman.
Member Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it'd be appropriate to mention while we're all gathered here, I saw in the paper yesterday, Member Erickson's brother has passed away, and just want to publicly, wish the condolences, I'm sure, of all of us on the board for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Josh.
Anyone else? If not, I have bills that have been reviewed and approved, presented to us in the amount of $4,872,522.50. Is there a motion to approve the bills? Motion by Member Rostelli, second by Member Friedrich. Any comments, additions, or corrections? Discussion? We will have a roll call vote.
William Kaisley,
Yes.
Karen Chung,
Yes.
Chuck Erickson,
Yes.
William John Friedrich,
Yes.
George Gordon,
Yes.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Yes.
Randall Martin. Still nothing. Catherine Metzger. Catherine Metzger.
Sorry, I'm getting to be having a hard time with that too. Yes.
Carl Robustelli.
Yes.
Thank you. Susan Schaefer,
Yes.
Wilkin Smith,
Yes.
James Goldner,
Yes.
Harold Thompson,
Yes.
Shayna Wachinsky,
Yes.
George Wendt,
He is signifying affirmatively.
Lori Woolrat.
Yes.
Josh Miller,
Yes.
Jacob Beard,
Yes.
Lindsay Bloomfield,
Yes.
John McIntyre.
Yes. The motion has carried. We will pay the bills. I have nothing further for tonight. All of you stay well. Member Woolrat.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the topic of the bills paid, I'm still not seeing any listing of the current bills paid or any bills paid since September of 19 on the auditor's website. So I was hoping we could get the back ones up there and the current ones put on there, or somewhere where we could all see them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, everyone. I hope you'll continue to try to adhere all the suggested safe practices as we navigate through these difficult times. Stay well, and this meeting is adjourned.